Hi, everyone, and welcome to Jehovah Boy. I'm your host, Doug Smith. Thanks so much for tuning in. Glad to have you aboard. Just a couple announcements before I announce my special guest today. Every Tuesday, new release day, we will be posting full video on YouTube, not just clips, full video of new episodes every Tuesday. We'll be rolling out our entire archive of previous episodes, one episode a week every Thursday, full video of an archived episode every Thursday. So if you like to watch your podcast, make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/@WhoDougSmith. Full video of every episode, past and present, in addition to multiple stand-up clips every week. And if you want early access to new episodes, 4 days early, along with extended interviews and loads of bonus content, including AMAs and listener emails, hop on that Patreon, patreon.com/Jehovah Boy, whatever platform you listen to. Hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and hit me up with your emails. If you grew up in a strict religious household, maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was a friend of yours, any wild story that you wish to share, that you want shared on the pod, I want to hear it. Hit me up, jehovahboypodcast@gmail.com. And even though, like I said, I personally refuse to dabble in the world of Reddit, you'd be doing a great service by upvoting, commenting, sharing posts, or messaging your stories on the Jehovah Boy subreddit. That is all. Thank you for the support. And now, without further ado, I'm going to announce my guest today. She has been a new face at the 2023 Just for Laughs International New Faces Showcase. Her debut album and special, I Do It Myself, is available now. And you can tune into her podcast, I'm assuming every week. Is it weekly?
Yes. But sometimes I forget and it's a little late. 5 years on, I still forget to put up the episode every week.
Semi-weekly podcast, The Shift. Ladies and gentlemen, Katie Boyle. Thank you so much for being here, Katie.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. Also, we should address the elephant in the room. We have a new, not new, but first time appearing on the pod. We got a pod mascot, Mochi. You held her. What'd you think?
Yeah, very spiky. Wasn't expecting that. Also, when you were given the intro, because you had her on your lap, so then I was looking around, I was like, where the fuck did this thing go? I didn't realize she was up on top of your shoulder.
You're a cat lover by nature, right?
Yeah.
Is that your top pet, you would say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like horses too.
Yeah.
I grew up with
horses. Oh, really? You're a horse
yeah.
girl?
Yeah, but not
not one of those weird ones?
Or, well, maybe, but not like, I feel like people in Ireland who have horses is different to people in maybe in New York who has horses. I feel like to have a horse here, you have to be like upstate rich,
sure,
or like abusing them in a carriage, or it's very I thought
horse-drawn carriages got banned like 10 years ago, but I guess they're still happening, and horses just drop dead in the street all the time. It's horrible.
I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for Fawn's stories. Did you see?
No.
She books the hot soup show, but she was posting about it, and I was like, oh my god, this is awful.
Yeah.
She posts like links to like call your rep or whatever to stop the horses. Yeah.
Jesus.
Getting hurt, which is amazing that she's doing that.
The important causes, people. Yeah. Never mind what's going on in the Middle East. Save the horses.
Save everybody.
First and foremost. I'm not even a horse guy at all. I'm not really afraid of any animals, but I've not really had any real positive experience with horses.
Okay.
I think they can kind of smell my fear and they respond to that.
Yeah, maybe. Wait, did a horse try to hurt you?
No, it's just every time I've gone horseback riding, the horse that I'm assigned to is kind of an asshole. They'll like turn back and give me a little nibble on the leg, or try to
that's so funny.
Rub me against a tree or something. I think I must give off something where they're like, this guy is not comfortable with me, I'm not comfortable with him, get him off my fucking back.
Maybe. I was never good at riding. I was a bit scared too. And I rode horses like for my whole childhood, but I was kind of spooked too, but they were never like bad to me or anything like that. But my dad put me in like a pony camp thing to make me better, and so they give all these awards, and so like it'd be like best canter, best trotter, best jumper, and I just was so bad at all of it, but I was really good at like being in with my horse and just talking to her, and like I'd do her hair and I'd clean her stable. So they made a new award, and it was called like best stable cleaner. So I basically got an award for cleaning my horse's shit. But that just shows how bad I was at the other stuff.
Best shit shoveler. Yeah,
I'm a best
someone's got to do it.
And I would do her hair in little like rosebuds.
Yeah, wow, that's adorable. But first time holding a bearded dragon, I'm assuming. Huh?
Yeah.
First time holding a reptile of any sort?
I used to pick up lizards in like on holidays in Spain.
You did, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So you would just pick them up, little newts, I guess.
I mean, it's fun. I mean, so this is, I think we're going to make her, I was saying to you earlier, every podcast, I think, thrives with a pet mascot. So, I mean, she's being a little camera shy now. She's got her back turned to the camera like a real fucking prima donna. What is this? She knows I don't have enough YouTube subscribers. Yeah. She's like, get your numbers up, then I'll make an appearance.
Yeah. In Ireland we have a thing which my dad tried to deny when I went back in front of my friends who are from here and who came to Ireland, and we Googled it to prove it. I was like, I know. The worst thing is I'm pretty sure he told me about this as a child, but it was like lick a lizard. But there's no lizards in Ireland. There's like newts or like toads. But the cure is, so Irish families have cures that's passed down.
Right.
I think from when we were pagans. I say we, but I didn't exist when that was around.
Put a pin in that. We definitely need to address the Irish pagans.
Oh, yeah. So, but you...
Keep talking. I'm just grabbing my coffee. Trying not to drop the lizard. Oh, boy.
If the person who has the cure and you get a burn, if they lick the lizard and, like, say a prayer or say a chant for you, your burn goes away.
Really?
Yeah.
If you lick the lizard.
I'm sure it's like... But I did have like warts on my hand, and I went to the wart person and they did the same thing. They don't lick a lizard. They just do like a prayer or a chant, and you tip them. They're not meant to take, like, you have to, like, you tip. But anyway, you don't pay them. But my warts went away, and we had froze them and everything, and I had them as a kid and they were on my hands, and then it went away. So I don't know if it's just the power of belief and you just like will it away, but I'm like proof that it worked.
This is incredible. I have a wart on my finger right now, and I have one of the, those wart Band-Aid things that I think it's just like concentrated salicylic acid, but it takes forever. And I don't
need to go to Ireland.
What will this do it? It has to be
that's just for burns.
Oh shit. God damn it. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll make the trip. All right. So what we usually do at the top of this podcast, I'm going to hit you with a rapid fire five questions. Get a little insight on your current state of spirituality and godliness. All right. Okay. So I'm going to hit you with a few questions. Try to keep it to 30 seconds or less. Okay.
That's hard for me.
Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. First question. What is your definition of God?
Yikes. I don't think there is like a God per se, but I think there's like, good energy, and if you do good things will happen, but then that doesn't always work out. So I don't really know. I don't have a definition for God. Who am I to define these things? I'm just a little person.
That's a fantastic answer if you ask me. So based on what you just told me, what would you say is your current relationship with God?
Oh my God. Except for saying, oh my God, I would say I'm one of those people who doesn't have a relationship unless it's, please God, don't let my boyfriend die in a random shooting at the mall, or please God, land this plane, or please God, don't let my cat choke on that cockroach. So I feel like I just use it as
no expressions of gratitude. It's only, please don't let bad things happen.
I think I use it as a kind of clutch for like a kind of over worrying. But no, I definitely for gratitude as well. But I don't know if I say God. I just say like thanks to the universe. Like, oh, thanks, this is going so well and I'm really happy with this. So definitely I guess that is a gratitude to God or the universe. But definitely gratitude too. I don't want God, I don't want you to think I'm not. I do have gratitude for you.
All right, fair enough.
Making me spiral.
What would you say is your current prayer and or meditation practice?
I don't think I have prayer or meditation practice, more of a to stop myself like over worrying or overthinking. I just play out the scenario and just try to be like, what's the worst case that can happen? So I feel like that's kind of like meditation for me, because it stops me spiraling with my overthinking. And then prayer, because prayer is like, please God keep us safe, right?
Well, I mean, prayer
What
can
is
be
prayer?
it can be an expression of any just communication with. You turn it around on me. That's not the way this works. This is all you. We'll get to me in a little bit, maybe. Prayer is just communication with a higher power.
Oh, you know what? I listen to ASMR just to drown out the voices.
Okay.
And I would say ASMR, but for your listeners, because they're American, ASMR. But yeah, just to drown out the voices. So I'd say that's my meditation.
You're
That
making
helps
pirate jokes on me?
Yeah, because you guys just are.
In Ireland, they say or,
Yeah.
like,
yeah, like a boat thingy.
like when you're saying the alphabet,
ABC,
Q or
yeah.
ST?
Yeah.
Really?
I went to start ABC and I was like, oh, it's too far down.
Yeah.
But thanks, because you knew the letters before. But yeah, so ASMR, I'd say that's my meditation, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I might have to give that a try. What would you say is the purpose of life?
I think it's to just kind of, I don't know if there is a purpose per se. I think it's all pretty much like we're very lucky to be alive and to enjoy it as much as possible and to be nice to each other and, you know, to live the best version you can, because it's just like a second you're here before you're gone. So I think that if that's the purpose, it's just to just live to what makes you happy and it is makes other people happy. Like, don't be selfish happy. Does that mean I'm still like a Catholic, but not a Catholic. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So just live it to the best that you can and be the happiest you can. And
okay. And final question of the Rapid Fire 5. You're doing great. Keeping it brief. What happens when we die?
I don't think anything happens, unfortunately. I'd love to think that I can't get my head around that there's another thing, you know. And I think if you just think like nothing happens, maybe then you will try to live your best life while you're here. And then also then maybe if people thought that, they'd be kinder to others, because like, you know, this idea of like heaven or hell means that you can kind of kill someone, or you know, but if you're just like, this is precious and we're only here for this moment, then whatever happens afterwards doesn't matter. But we don't know, you know, so no one has it confirmed. So I can't wrap my head around that there's anything else, because like that, my imagination's not that far, and I don't know. But then if someone dies, you want to believe it. So if someone dies close to me, touch wood, I'll believe. I'll be like, well, there's a fucking heaven. They're up there.
Okay, fair enough. All right, you did it. That's it, everybody. No,
it's
all right.
questions.
So now that gave me a good foundation for your pagan belief system.
Yeah.
So you would say though that for the most part, when you do pray, it's out of fear of bad things happening. Is that correct?
Maybe
Praying for God to intervene so that bad things don't happen.
And I don't think God will. I think it's just a comfort thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like a way to kind of calm yourself, or make it, because if you're like, oh God, like please let these people not die. Obviously I have no control over that, and if there is no God, there's no control over that. But it just makes you feel like you're doing something, or feel like it's better, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So it's more like a comfort thing, or
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And do you address, when you do pray, do you address a specific God, or you don't believe it's a entity, you just believe it's an energy, right?
Yeah. I think it's like more than likely.
I'm getting all the signs that I'm about to get shit on, by the way.
Yeah.
A podcast first. A live lizard shit is brewing as we speak.
It looks like a comfy.
I mean, usually she like really settles down and loves to be kind of tucked away like a baby kangaroo, but she's getting a little squirmy, so I'm bracing myself. Anyway.
What was the question?
About when you pray, you don't pray to a specific entity. It's just an energy, correct?
I mean, yeah. So like I was raised Catholic, so obviously you would believe in a God. But since I've kind of like stepped away from all of that, I think more energy. Like I do feel like when you put out positive vibes, positive things happen, which is easy for me to say in the privileged fucking life that I have. I'm not like in the midst of a war. So I'm just saying on a regular day-to-day life, I don't think if there's like a war happening and you're like, please don't let this bomb come here, that's going to stop the bomb. I mean, I'm very lucky, but I think in like general day-to-day of like, don't worry about comedy stuff. Yeah, you could kind of just do the work and it'll pay off. And then it just sets your brain into that like it sets your brain to automatically put you in a place where you do get more spots or you do make the right choices, if that makes sense. So that's why I always think it's like an energy thing. But yeah, I forget the question again.
You answered it.
Did I?
Good.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So you were raised Catholic.
I knew what I was going to say.
Okay.
I remember because there's a thought and then the lizard was shitting. Yeah, because like I feel like
it's warm. It feels good. I'm not gonna change my shirt.
I feel like I believe in everything and nothing at the same time. So I'm probably more agnostic, if that makes sense, because I don't deny anybody's God either. And I think all of the religions are kind of the same and like, but yet they're used against each other, even though it's the same thing. But I still wear a cross and I won't take it off me. And so that's like when I pray, it's not that I'm like, oh God, but like anytime I have a bad thought, I kiss my cross. And in my head, it's like, I mean, this is really just OCD, but in my head, it's like touching wood because Jesus's Christ cross was wood and I can't get wood everywhere. Sometimes I'm talking about penis, but I'm not.
Yeah, really through and through. Touch wood. So here we say knock on wood.
Yeah, so we say
there
touch
you
wood.
say touch wood.
Yeah, and so
is it just a touch? You don't have to knock?
No, you just have to touch. And, you know, I couldn't always find like wood as a kid. And my dad had given me this when I was like 12 for confirmation, and I've worn it every day since. And it's more like a kind of superstitious thing as well. But I feel like Irish Catholics are like pagan Catholics, very superstitious, very like, which is interesting because Catholicism was to kind of get the pagan out. But instead in Ireland, they just created pagany Catholics, you know?
Yeah.
That was the whole point. They were trying to stop them being pagans. Irish people kept all of the, you know, throw salt over your shoulder, but also say the Our Father. So...
Is that where a lot of those things originated? Was in Ireland? Is that what you're saying? Throw salt over your shoulder?
I don't know, but that's definitely, I'm sure a lot of cultures have that, but that comes from like a kind of like superstitious culture. That's not like a Catholic. That must come from some sort of paganism, I presume.
Would you say Irish Catholics, though, by nature are extremely superstitious? That's a big part of it?
100%.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so superstitious.
And beyond like the cliches of like black cats or walking under a ladder or broken mirrors, are there other things I may not know about?
Those, there's if you drop a knife, they'd say like that's a man to the door. I don't know what the man's doing, but like these little things.
That's what they say. It's a man to the door.
Yeah, but God knows what I don't know if it's a good man or a bad man.
Jehovah's Witnesses are going to show up at your door if you drop a knife.
I always waited for...
Hold the knife.
I always waited for them to show to the door, and they never did. I'd hear the jokes growing up, and they never got a Jehovah's Witness to my door.
You never had one show up at your door?
Never.
Ever?
But the... we have a lot of folklore too, like banshees and fairies, so you'd never cut down a fairy tree. So even though it's like massive Catholic, it was a massive Catholic country, which doesn't align with believing in fairies, but like people protested so that a motorway would go around a fairy tree, because it's like, well, what if it is real? We're not pissing off the fairies, you know? So that kind of shows that I'm believing in changelings and all of that stuff. Like your baby was sick, you're like, it was a changeling, so you threw it down a fucking well. So those type of things.
So there have been a lot of babies thrown down wells?
I mean, there was definitely stories of babies thrown, or it's just your baby was probably dying and you thought like, oh, it's a changeling.
Cut to the chase.
Because you didn't know. Like a lot of the time was the medical history didn't match up, and so you just believed in the like kind of superstition-y stuff, like women. Women could do spells on their husbands to make them not want to have sex with them, like stuff like that in the old medieval Ireland.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the thing was, but they would put stuff in the bed so that the man, like weird, like hay, blessed hay or something, so the man would be able to. I'm completely fucking this up, but stuff like that. People had cures or the same.
I think they're underestimating the horniness of most men.
Yeah,
hay is all it takes. I can't have sex on this hay.
But I'm sure the men were like, "Oh, I can't understand why I'm not getting boners anyway. This witch cursed me." Do you know? But then also like Saint Bridget. So Saint Bridget, do you know about her?
No.
So obviously, again, that's like a Christian saint, and she's an Irish one, and she did the kind of she made these like crosses out of some weird grass thing. Again, I'm fucking this up, and she's literally the patron saint of where I'm from, and I can't remember.
You better kiss that cross.
She's from Kildare, I know. But there was
you were the only spokesman I have for Irish culture.
I could just be like, and then we put the tea in our eyes, and we run around naked and scream at the moon, but also go to mass on Sundays. But no, she's a saint. It's obviously a Christian saint, and the whole thing was that she was building a church, and the landlords were like, you can only have it as big as your shawl, but then her shawl grew, so she was able to make a really big church. But on the other side of it, on the kind of superstition-y, sort of pagan-y side, women would go to her for abortions, and she would do like a little blessing thing, and they would get an abortion. So that's another side that like Christian wouldn't reveal about Saint Bridget, whereas like that's what she was also known for, being very like feminist and doing abortions.
And the abortion was done just through a blessing?
Yeah, it was something like that, like a spelly type thing. Yeah. I'm sure she gave them some. Do you know what she probably did? She probably gave them some sort of potion, but it really is like something that just kills the little fetus.
Right.
Yeah, and then so I think she was like a healer.
Just straight up Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
That was her secret.
Yeah. Right. There's some like Christian listen to this, as I said, healer and abortion in the same thing, who's like, how does exploding? Why did she heal that woman?
So are there anybody who's trying to uphold these kind of these ancient traditions of St. Catherine? Are there still healers in Ireland
Bridget
that are able? Yeah.
Oh, he's Catherine.
Catherine. I'm sorry. Did I say? What did I say?
Catherine.
I said Catherine.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Bridget.
Are there people that?
Now I'm like, I don't know. Is that Catherine?
It's a real who was on first of abortion spells. Are there still people that claim that they can perform abortions through spells?
I don't think so. Plus, you can get abortions now in Ireland, but that's
totally legal.
Pretty recent, yeah. But there is people who claim they have other cures, like the one I told you, like the wart one and the yeah. So there's other ones. So maybe there are, and I never needed to go that far into it. But like most women in modern times before abortion would have just went to England for an abortion. But honestly, there should have been someone doing what St. Bridget is. The women would have saved a fortune not having to go all the way over to England. But I guess because you're like, it's probably risky drinking potions as well. You know, it's...
Yeah, I would say so.
It's probably because there's probably like women who die from it as well.
Right.
It's like a back alley abortion.
This was the original don't leave your drink unattended at a club.
Yeah.
You don't know what might happen.
Yeah.
So
Plan B. Plan A was just have a fun time. Plan B, you lost your child.
Yeah. It's pretty drastic. So you never had Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door in Ireland.
Not mine.
Have you had them come to your door since you've been living in New York?
No, because I've always lived on... I've never lived on a first floor. I'm always in where you have to get into the building.
Right. Well, they're good at that.
Oh, really?
Don't put it past them. Oh, yeah. They sneak into apartment buildings.
Think, have I ever... No, but you know what I did have? I feel like you'll like this story. I had like an apartment in Astoria that was like infested with cockroaches, and I kept talking to the landlord, and the landlord always gaslights you. You know, you're like, oh, there's cockroaches, and they're like, did you see it's like sunny outside? You're like, what is happening? So I just kept complaining, and eventually he sent in this small little Latin man, and he was very sweet and old, and I just was chatting to him. I stayed in my room while he like sprayed the whole place. He just sprayed it. He didn't wear a mask, and then he knocked, and I came out, and then he
sprayed a potion. We don't know what's in that potion.
But then he asked me to do a prayer.
It's probably
with him.
The same thing they used to kill babies.
Yeah, exactly.
And he asked you to do a prayer with him.
Yeah, he asked me to do a prayer. And he made me put out my hands, close my eyes, stick my tongue out as he did like an angel prayer. And he said it meant that for 2 hours I could not be physically harmed, and that he did it on a cop and someone shot at her but it missed her because of this prayer. And it was just really mental. And then like he was obviously just like had a lot of fumes, but it was also like you never want to dismiss, because my boyfriend and my roommate at the time was like, why would you and I was like, first he's an older man.
Old people get away with some creepy shit.
I know,
right? If he was a guy in his 20s, you would have been like, get the fuck out of my house.
I would have been like 911.
Stick my tongue out? No, thank you.
And I just like, you know, and then he really clearly believed it. Like my vibe was he believed it, and it's just easier to just do it and then dismiss him. And obviously the fumes are like he's got a little high. And you know, it's like whatever, 5 minutes out of my day. But and who knows, you know, maybe that angel spell did protect me for 2 hours.
5 minutes out of your day that could have turned into therapy for the rest of your life. Luckily,
I grew up with a lot worse in childhood. I was like, this is fine. This is relaxing.
So, well, you just naturally brought us to what I was about to foray into, because you've alluded to this. I think you talk about it in your stand-up. You grew up with a mother who, is that what you're referring to?
Oh, yeah.
Mother
who's
she bipolar? She's still alive?
Oh, yeah, but I haven't spoken to her in like 18, 17 years. Not since I left when I was 18, so, and I'm 33, whatever that maths is, 16, 17, I don't know.
Don't ask me, you're asking the wrong guy.
33,
she'll get the answer better than me.
15.
Okay.
No, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I haven't spoken to her, but which is great and all for the best. It's one of those weird things because people feel like, why wouldn't you speak to your mother? Like they can't understand, and then you give like a little snippet and then they're so horrified, and then you have to spend the emotional energy of being like, no, but I'm fine, it's good. Yeah. You know, so people just they don't understand if they haven't grown up with like a toxic or mentally unwell person. And the thing is too, it's not like she would ever get help for her, and so we don't even know what the mental illness is. I'm like slightly convinced she's also possessed by a demon, so it could be that too, because when she would go off on one of her wibbly wobblies, it looked like my little brothers, when I moved out and I went to live with my dad, my little brothers were tiny babies at the time, so he had kids with my stepmom, and he had drove up to get like my school uniform, and she came out, but she was screaming so much in the street that her blood vessels in her eyes started to pop.
Oh god.
So she was like, it looked like she was like bleeding from her eyes, and my little brothers were crying in the car like, who's the devil woman? So like it does look like a possession, you know. Yeah, so
holy shit, did her head spin around?
I mean, she would do stuff
spit
like
pea soup everywhere.
But yeah, pretty much like she would throw herself up against the bathroom doors like my dad was locked in it, and like be scraping at it, or like scrape at herself. And like you can see how people thought demonic possession was real when they didn't know what like severe mental illness is.
Good Lord. Yeah. I mean, my dad's wife is deep in the throes of dementia, and she wears mittens in the summertime so she doesn't claw her own eyeballs out.
Oh my god, dementia is like terrifying. And I've on both sides, like my grandmother and my grandfather on both sides of my family ended up getting dementia, and I'm like, that's literally like my worst. And I have really bad memory, so I was like, is it happening?
Yeah.
I'll be just like, what did I do yesterday?
Oh yeah, I had a situation a couple weeks ago where I found my phone in the freezer, and a pint of ice cream in my backpack.
No, that's so funny. But that's like ADHD. Because I
guess so. Thank you for saying that. Because I was like, oh fuck.
And it's just busy.
What's the cutoff for checking into a home? I don't think I'm quite there yet.
No, that's fine. That's me every day. Like today I posted on my Instagram that I couldn't find my bra for like 2 days, the one that I like. And then yesterday I just saw it hanging in the kitchen on the hook that's for the curtains, so I'm sure in my tired mind I just took it off. I was making a cup of tea and probably just hung it up for a second.
Yeah.
And then like my friend messaged and was like, yeah, I noticed that when I came to visit for tea. I'm like, I'm literally mental. Or Leland, my boyfriend, opened the cutlery drawer and he found like it was clean tampons in it. But I guess like I must have been running out of the house and I just threw them in the drawer thinking I'll remember them. Obviously did not. And he just makes a joke about it. He was like, I guess they're utensils, which is very silly and funny, but...
Use them like chopsticks?
Yeah. But yeah, that's like my life. I'm just like, yeah, like I'll look for my phone while it's in my hand type of, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I know. I wear contacts now, but I've been looking for my glasses while they're on my face since I was 9 years old. So.
Yeah.
Are you being blinded by... sometimes I draw the curtains, but I also feel like on a podcast we're talking about spirituality, it would be sacrilegious to block out God's celestial light.
Oh, no, and I like the light. I don't like when
I like so too. I don't like,
Yeah.
This apartment is flooded with sunlight. I like to embrace it.
No, that's so
great. I think it would be, it's not very godlike to just be lit up by a single fucking ring light. Anyway, all right, so Irish Catholic, bipolar mother. When is the last time you went to church that you remember?
I went here to a funeral and I didn't know. So it was a Lutheran.
I didn't mean to misdiagnose your mother. Was she diagnosed as bipolar?
No, she was never diagnosed.
Wasn't.
I feel sorry for all the bipolar people. Because in fairness to I don't think she's bipolar. Because in fairness to bipolar, and I know a lot of people have bipolar, it seems like a condition where they can kind of go manic but come back down and kind of get a grasp on something's not right here. It seems to be like, from what I've heard from my friends, there's been a moment where they've been able to check themselves in, or they've been like able to see, like, even in the midst of it, when they're in an illogical sort of thing, when they land back down, they're able to go, that there's something off here.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like, well, whatever my mother has, she can't do that. She's in whatever she's in constantly. So I think it's more like borderline from the research I've done. But what do I know? Demonic possession. No, I went to a Lutheran funeral, and so growing up in Ireland, it was Catholics and Protestants. And now I'm from the Republic, and now in the Republic there's like a little more diversity of religion. There's like quite a few mosques, and there'd be a lot of Muslim people whose parents would have moved to Ireland like in the 90s, be it from the Middle East or North Africa. And then there's probably like some other smaller religions, but the main one was Catholic and Protestant, and it was majority Catholic. Like I grew up, everybody was Catholic, bar like the odd person who was like Muslim or something in my class, but like that was the majority. Wait, what was it? Oh, so I didn't realise growing up that there were other Christian religions. I thought it was just Catholic and Protestant. Honestly, didn't even realise I was Christian. I thought I was just Catholic, and that was Protestant and like Muslim and Jewish. I thought that was it, and like Hinduism. I didn't realise that Protestant, Catholic, then there's like Lutheran or evangelical, or is Jehovah Witness a Christian?
Well, yeah.
I had no idea.
I hate to even give them that credit, but yes, they are. That is the foundation.
I had no idea. And especially moving to the States is where I learned a lot of it. And I was like, what fucking rock have I been under? But in Ireland, Protestant and Catholic is such a fucking, it was such a, oh, they're Protestant. It was such a like, you know, separation, like, or like, oh, kind of like used as a tool to fight each other type of thing. Because being Catholic was like so the opposite of being Protestant and British. You know what I mean? Like, I think the only reason why people even got super Catholic was a way to separate themselves from Britain, when again, it's the same fucking religion, bar they think Mary's not a virgin, and they're probably right, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the Protestants here are different to the Protestants, Irish Protestants too. Oh, it's just so much. But anyway, I didn't know that there was different versions of Protestantism as well. So I, like, you know the way there's just Catholic, but then the Protestant, there's different versions of it. So I guess Lutheran is a version of this fucking blew my mind. I don't understand it.
It's a very tangled web, and bottom line, every religion thinks that every other religion is batshit crazy, and they have found the truth.
I know, and I'm like, our one is pretty mental.
There's so many parallels, even in what is considered to be polar opposites. Like, I have talked to several Muslims, and when I find out their belief system, there's a ton of crossover between Muslim and Christian beliefs.
I relate mostly, I think, to Muslims here in the States, and how that they're like culture kind of like, so a lot of my friends would be culturally Muslim and I would feel culturally Catholic, and a lot of the stuff we talk about and the way our parents talk to us and everything, I'm like, is very similar. It's interesting, and similar kind of beliefs, and then obviously very different beliefs in terms of like stuff like, obviously us Catholics are dirty bastards, we're not washing all the time and we only do 3 prayers instead of 5. But no, the Lutheran was interesting because I went and the guy, the priest man, was like, I know there's some Catholics here. And I was like, oh Lord, he's talking about me. And he was like, but you're welcome to come up and get the bread as long as you believe God is the one true God. And I was like, this is fucking mental. There's like a stipulation. I don't know what I believe in, but I need to get up to the top because there's the people that I'm there for. I need to give them the nod that, hey, I'm here. I supported your death of your family. That's what you do. That's how you see them. You go up after you take the bread. You say blah blah, but in the Catholic Church there was never this kind of like, I know there's other people here and you can come up and take the bread. You know what I mean? I've never experienced that because it was always just presumed everybody, I guess, was Catholic. But I think that this priest was trying to be inclusive because the woman who had died, her daughter was married to a Catholic, and he is my distant cousin. Anyway, when I went up, they give you the bread, and I ate it like you do in a Catholic mass. But then when I turned around, there was a glass of wine, but it was COVID time. So I was like, they hardly expect you to drink it. And then I was kind of just stalled there. And when I looked at the other queue, they were dipping the bread in the feckin' wine, but I'd already eaten my bread. So I'm just staring at the woman. I didn't know what to do. So I was just I'd
rather have the exterminator ask me to stick my tongue out.
I know, right? I didn't know what to do. So I just blessed her. I was like, oh, thank you. I don't know. What am I doing? Why am I blessing a woman? And just panic. And then look around, my cousin's like head down. And then I'm like, doing the thanks for the bread. I don't know if I believe in you. Sorry, I took it, but I needed to go up like having a fucking life crisis in the mass as I'm praying. So it was a lot.
Wow. So did you grow up going to church on a regular basis? And then did you have like a hard and fast, like, fuck this, I'm done with organized religion, I want no part of this?
No, and I never even felt like, oh, I'm done with it like that. I just really like sleeping on Sundays. It wasn't like I just got busy with work or like we would go on Sundays when I would stay at my dad's because my grandmother is very religious, and I think he was really just going for her. And then he would bring my brothers and sisters too as like a moral code type thing. And also like if you can sit still in mass for an hour, that's like a good, you know, whatever, like a good lesson for kids and stuff like that. And it's a sense of community. You get to see your friends, you get to go to the pub afterwards. So I completely understand why. But yeah, I think at some point like I just was stopped going because of work. I could work on those Sundays. And then my grandmother's in a home now, so my dad and my stepmom don't go anymore, and my brothers and sisters play so much sports as well that they don't go, and they're kind of like I think they just fell out of it as well. Just like, it's not. Yeah,
I agree. I think the demand placed on a lot of people to go to church services, especially Jehovah's Witnesses, have to go to, when I was growing up, they cut back now to 2, but when I was growing up, it was 3 church services a week.
That's too much.
Which, if anything, is going to make me say there is no God, it's that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's too much. And like my boyfriend said we're not allowed to. He said we're not allowed to, but like he said he doesn't want to. Sorry, I should say that because it's not like he's controlling. He said he doesn't want to get married in a Catholic church because of the incense, which is hilarious reason. It's not because of like, well, they're all pedos, which they're not. I feel bad for some priests because they all get a bad rep now, and obviously they're not all pedos.
Yeah, the 1%ers that don't engage.
Yeah, you're like this.
Really get a bad rep.
But yeah, he doesn't like the incense, which I think I would like to get married in a Catholic church. But then I'm like, I guess it doesn't really matter because I don't really believe in it.
Yeah. Do you believe in karma?
I believe. Okay, 2 things about karma. I believe if you do good things happen, and if you do bad, eventually, like, there's this comic who I fucking hate, and so much to the point
Patreon.com, people. /Jehovah Boy.
But so much so that, like, you don't want it to seem like you just have a personal vendetta, and I was just kind of like, he's the type of person who's nasty to people, but then once he's nice, when he wants something, people are like, oh my God, he likes me, like, because he shines at, when like nasty people shine a light on you, then you think you're special, like, oh, but he likes me, so he kind of always gets what he wants. But anyway, recently I started to hear that more and more people were really starting to see his true colors, and I did think about that, like, you know, people have their day will come. If you're nasty, eventually it will come and bite you in the arse. That's what I believe. I believe if you're good things will happen. If you're bad, and you have to have good intentions, not just, oh, I'm donating to charity so that I get that spot on that show. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's all just out of goodness. The other side on that, though, I think that's only if you're living in a privileged world does that work, because some people are just born into poverty. They didn't do anything wrong. Some people are born into war zones. They didn't do anything wrong, and I think that they can do good things and suffer severe consequences because of governments or organizations. So in that regard, I don't think that it's not realistic what I believe, because you know, you could be like good and wonderful and beautiful and in nature, and then a volcano could fucking wipe you and your family out. So it's just kind of like, I do think it's a good moral system to have, but I don't think it necessarily means it's real.
Right.
Does that make sense? I don't think I'm coming back as a pigeon.
It's convenient to believe in when it's on your side, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's if you live like just like us, like day to day, it's a good thing to have a moral compass. Like, do you know what? Don't be a dick to that person, because that's going to bite you in the arse. It's a good way. It's a good way to teach kids to have a moral compass, but it doesn't mean it's like real. It doesn't mean that someone who got ran over by a bicycle had like murdered a child. Do you know what I mean? It's just bad luck as well. Yeah.
I'm always looking just for little ways in which I'm getting karmic payback. You know, like if I get a parking ticket, I'll be like, oh, it's because I flipped that dude off in traffic an hour ago. You know,
that's so funny.
There's always something that I'm able to pin it on.
Yeah, whatever keeps you good and kind to people. That's the main thing.
Right.
But I don't think I'm going back as like a pigeon or anything. But I do think my cat.
Don't think you're going back as a pigeon.
I don't believe it. Oh, karma made me think of reincarnation. That's why I got them mixed up.
Reincarnation.
I don't believe in that. Even
you
though
don't believe in reincarnation of any sort.
I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. But then I do think my cat, one of them, if they were reincarnated, one of them was an orphan child.
Yeah.
Because he's just so like a baby and just wants love, and he's so skittish. So that's what I think he was. And then the other one is like, he was like in like some Irish mafia gang. Like, he literally meows like a 1920s like, you know, gangster guy who's like, he goes, meh.
Yeah.
Meh. And he's just like,
that's awesome.
He like will to get me up if he'll meow, but if I don't wake up, he'll put just one claw and put it under the blanket and scrape me. So it's like very deliberate,
really?
But he's not trying to like, he doesn't use all the claws. It's just one. Like, that's some fucking
that's
mafia
psychotic
move.
shit.
Yeah, that's some
just a little taste of what's to come.
Yeah, and he gives you like love.
I got 4 more just like it.
Yeah, and he only gives you love if you give him the things that he wants. So if it's like, if I do walk him in the apartment like on his leash, he loves that. But the lady downstairs is crazy and she keeps accusing us of having a dog, and we have a cat, but I don't want her to see the cat. Anyway, she's a lot.
You walk your cat on a leash in the apartment? In
the halls. And he loves that because he came from the streets. So he's like, really, whereas the other cat never came. He doesn't need, whereas this cat's like visibly bored.
He needs it. Yeah.
But I do that, he'll come up and cuddle me at night. And when I don't do that, he doesn't. And I haven't done it in a while because the lady accosted me outside my apartment the other day, or like a week ago. So she's really crazy.
Wow. So you have an orphan and a 1920s gangster. That's quite a mix.
So if reincarnation is real, that's what they are. But I don't believe it.
So So you believe that, but you don't believe that you're going to come back as anything. You don't believe that you're going to come back as nothing.
I mean,
at all.
if I did, it's not going to be me.
Yeah,
because you can't. You know what made me think that there wasn't an afterlife was dementia. I think that was the real thing, because when you have dementia, your brain is like degrading, and you literally become a different person. Your personality, or if somebody gets hit on the head and they hit something, their personality changes. And that's what made me think that there's not, because your essence, your soul is your personality. Like, okay, but your soul is good. But then how come if I got a bang in the head and now I'm cutting up animals because my people's wires get mixed up in their brain? So for me, that's where I'm like, our whole essence is based off our brain.
Yeah.
So we don't have the brain.
Right.
That's not. So unless my energy goes into a fucking tree or something, I don't know. But I don't think whoever I am right now, because I can change. Like, if, touch wood, something happens.
See, I'm going to start saying touch wood now, and everybody's going to be like, dude, you're fucking gross.
Like,
why are you saying such perverted things in my presence? Have you ever had a near-death experience?
No, but this felt like a near-death experience. This was the second thing that made me think there's not an afterlife. When I got my tonsils out and my appendix out, they knock you out and they put you under amnesia. No, that's not it. You forget your whole experience. What's it called?
They put you under anesthesia and it leads to amnesia in some cases.
Yeah, so I was not completely
you have
wrong.
No memory of this.
But that's what so they go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, but then you wake up. And that was like, they turn you off. There's no dreaming. And like, I don't go a night without dreaming. I have very lucid dreams. I used to have night terrors. But the fact that I was turned off and that there was no time and then I was turned back on, that for me was like, I think that's like, how can you just turn someone off? So I feel like if there was like an afterlife, you wouldn't be able to turn someone off. And you know what I mean? Like my brain was turned. It's so scary, but that's why I just think maybe it felt like I didn't exist.
By turning off, I mean, the effects of the anesthesia take hold and you fade into deep
But you don't even
slumber.
Dream.
Right. That's true.
Weird. I've never gone a night without dreaming.
They don't turn you back on.
They turn me off. They turn me back on.
They flip the switch.
That's what, because if literally, how does it go?
They rip the Velcro off your back and flip the switch, Teddy Ruxpin style.
7-5 awake and time has passed. That's madness. You know, no.
You didn't think of it just as the effects of the anesthesia wearing off and you coming to on your own? They're like, and go.
Yeah, but it still feels like being turned off and turned back on.
So because I haven't been under anesthesia, and I mean, I have had a surgery when I was 6 months old that I clearly don't remember. But like, you remember coming to and having no memory of going under?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was like I never was asleep. It was like I heard 7 and then woke up, or 6 and then woke up. That's so weird. And yeah, again, maybe that is just amnesia and the afterlife is something else. I do hope like that I'm wrong, but I also think if we think, it depends though, because if good people think this way, like, okay, enjoy life, live it to the most, you don't know what's after, because they use the afterlife to oppress a lot of Catholics, you know, like, work hard, you'll be paid off, and like people just like worked hard or starved or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just, it's just it can be used as a tool of oppression. But then the other side of it is, if bad people don't think that there's like a hell, like sometimes the idea of hell is just stopping people killing people as well. So that's the other side. I'd hope that it would stop people killing people, because it's like, let them live their one life. Yeah. But maybe other people are like, I can do what I want now.
Sure. So if you had to say one way that would be your biggest fear in terms of the worst way to die, what would that be? And what would be the best way to die?
Oh, I think so many ways to die would be bad. I have so many.
You've just got a 1,000-yard stare.
I know. I think about it all the time.
Like you've done 2 tours in Iraq.
I think about it like when
run over by a tank. Yeah. Like I watched happen to my buddy, face down in the muck.
Yeah. No, I mean, like anything with torture, obviously, anything. Yeah. Like, I feel like I have like extreme empathy. Like if I see someone without a leg, I get a pain in my leg. And I don't know what the fuck that is. But so I do think about, like, when I hear about people dying, like, you know, women getting like fucking gang assaulted and stuff like that. And I'm like, that would be horrific. Yeah, anything with like assault would be horrific, because it's just like, you know, that's always, I think that one.
Anything slow and painful that you're conscious of.
Yeah, like that Kurdish woman who started the Iran women's revolution, the way she died, I mean, that was like, that just seemed like fucking horrific, just like slowly beaten to death. Oof. Yeah, so sorry, this is very sad. And then, you know, I'll think about on the plane how, like, if the plane went down, I think that must be very scary, even though you probably die instantly but the fact that you have a few moments where you know you're going to die, I think that's very scary, where you have to make your peace with it. Yeah. Ugh. But what would be, drown and fuck that. Drown in fire. People are like, well, the smoke inhalation. It's like, yeah, but I like to breathe. Either, you know what I mean? I don't want to be smothered and then burned. Burnt alive. Any of that witch, where they would burn the witches. Oh, I would have definitely been put on the stake.
Drowning would be pretty rough.
Drowning's rough.
It would always really creep me out when in movies when you see somebody like fall through the ice, like an icy lake.
Oh my God,
and then
and
they
you're
get
banging
trapped
on
under the ice.
That'd be...
Your escape is right there. It's inches above you.
Yeah. No,
Sweet relief. But you just can't.
No. And I hate being in the water, underwater. I hate being on big boats or anything like that. I hate anything like that.
Yeah.
Eaten by a shark. All of it. Any way to die to me is horrific unless it's like... Okay, so best way to die is obviously the instant ones where you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's instant. Shot in the head.
I think getting eaten by a shark would be pretty cool, actually. I actually have moments when I'm in the ocean where because you know that the sharks are all over, especially in New York beaches. There's like multiple New York beaches that were like shut down this summer for shark attacks. There's a woman that got her leg fucking chomped on at Far Rockaway.
No, fuck that.
So I still go swimming around here, and I kind of have this weird surrender where I'll just close my eyes and I'll swim out toward the horizon underwater. And I'm like, if I go, it's a pretty badass way to go.
Yeah.
Being consumed by
I think that's
Mother Earth. You're
drowning and bleeding and seeing parts of you ripped off. That is a slow, torturous death.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I'm giving the shark so much credit for like making it quick and relatively painless.
You'd be like, there's my arm gone. Oh, there's my leg gone. I'm still alive.
I think I'm overestimating the size of this shark.
Oh, you know what?
I'm picturing like a megalodon just gobbling me whole.
You know what too?
Maybe a foot floats up to the surface.
You'd be alive for a while before. Oh God.
Yeah.
But you know what too? War is one of my big fears too, because I do feel like civilization is on the verge of collapsing, and I feel like I live in a time where women were getting rights, progression, gay marriage, and because it got so progressive, the pendulum is going to swing back. So I think there's going to be like, and I hope not, because I like the time I'm living in, but I do think about war a lot, and I think about like, imagine being in a building that's been bombed at, but you don't die, you're just trapped under it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, sorry, I'm very affected by the news lately.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of after living in a relatively safe, not even relatively, war-free zone our entire lives. And I mean, what's the closest we've experienced? 9/11. That was 2 buildings in an isolated part of one city, but to have like multiple drone strikes happening all over your
nowhere
country,
to run.
You don't know where the next one's going to be.
Been told to go to one place and then they blow that up.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't make it in time. We gave you 45 minutes. like what? No. And in Ireland too, there was like the Oma bombings when I was 8, but I was living in like outside of Dublin, so I was like 3 hours away. So I watched that. It's interesting that it was in my country, but I watched that on the news as an 8-year-old the way I watched 9/11 as a 10-year-old.
Right.
Wait, 9/11 I would have been 2011. Sorry, 11-year-old or 2001. Yeah, 11-year-old. No, I was 10. I hadn't turned 11 yet. Anyway, Katie.
Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, and neither one of us are math whizzes.
No, but wait, what was I gonna? You were saying, you know what it is too? I think that we would have been just kind of too young, and we would have only seen a lot of the other wars on the news, and we weren't like watching the news as much, especially in your teens. You were watching a little bit, but like for me, I was just like fucking blackout drunk my whole teens.
Yeah.
And then by the time like the Iraq war, right, we realized that was a fucking illegal war or whatever. It was kind of, it already happened. And then that's when people started questioning things. And then for us now, this is probably the first time we're seeing constant images online.
Yeah.
Because like social media is such a big thing now. You're seeing people share their stories. You're seeing them share their dead child. You're seeing them. Whereas all the other ones, it was kind of like if you watched the right news channel, but you know, it wasn't like on your phone every single day from the actual people, you know, and like seeing like the truth or whatever, or also trying to see propaganda.
You were only shown what they wanted you to see.
Exactly, depending on
Whereas
what
now
news channel
it's like eyewitness.
Now you're seeing from the actual people, and you can't deny it. And even like other people are like, well, it's AI, and it's like even AI people are coming out being like, that's impossible to make that as AI. That's like real people with their like kids with missing limbs. You're like, this is on your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time.
Yeah, but that's the new that's like the new conspiracy theorists, like Sandy Hook deniers or whatever. People are just blaming shit on AI, real life events. Like, that's AI.
There was an AI one that was funny and real, but it was from and I'm going to offend any super pro Israelis right now, but I don't care. It was from an Israeli account, and like in fairness, all the kind of misinformation, there has been misinformation by like the Israeli government, but they also have come out and admit it, and so, but it's a pity because they admit it and then other people still spread it, and it's like, well, your own the government already admitted that they fucked up on that in that information or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was one picture and it was passed around, and I'm sure it was just someone who's pro-Israeli and made it to try to show support for Israel, and but it was all these people hanging outside of their balconies, waving their flags to support the troops, to support their IDF. But when you zoom up, people had like 2 arms, or people had like no legs, or like bunch of fingers, and that would show that it was like AI. But it was just kind of like nearly funny, because it was like, this is you don't need to do, like, you do, you know, there are people that you don't need to make this image.
Doesn't need to be manufactured,
random and weird and like not well done. But it was just a weird one that was going around that I was kind of like, and this does not help your cause.
No,
sharing it. But that's the only ones I saw from AI that was like clearly AI.
Right.
Yeah.
Final question for this round: if you could do one last virtuous thing before you die, what would it be?
Virtuous. So you mean like that helps people? There's loads of things that I want to do that I have thought about a lot. Like, if I get like successful and keep getting a platform, I do want to make sure that everything I do like gives back in a way. And I think for mental health, we need to be better. So I would love to like at some point help with mental health in Ireland. I think that's a massive issue, because nobody wants to go to therapy, and people are quick to blame people on other things when I think people do bad stuff because of mental health issues. They're not inherently bad. So I think that would be something I want to somehow, when I actually have money where I'm not just hand to mouth, because I'm living off comedy, but it's because I'm like hand to mouth. I'm not like, I'm very good at like living very cheaply, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's something I would like to do.
You feel like Ireland is way behind the States in terms of mental health awareness?
No, I think you guys are behind as well in a certain way, because people go to therapy, and I think that's brilliant. I think maybe sometimes people go to therapy when maybe they don't even need to go to therapy, but whatever you want to spend your money on. But I think here it's too much of a pill popping. We need more pills. Here you need less pills. We need more therapy. Here you need less therapy. I mean, here is not right either. Like this whole like, if you want to have a gun to protect yourself, that's one thing, but people, which I don't agree on, but obviously I don't live in the middle of nowhere and think that there's people coming onto my land. I don't understand the justification for it, but the fact is that gun shootings in public are normal here, and that they're not normal anywhere else. Do you know, this sort of way? They're not normal in Europe, they're not normal in Ireland. So that's something linked with mental health. Like, people have to be clearly mentally ill to take a gun and shoot at random. That's not even like, oh, I'm going to kill this person, I'm going to plan it, I'm going to like hide the evidence. This is someone's head who's so mental that, because you when you shoot into a school or a mall, you know you're going to die, or you know you're just not. So no, the mental health here is not good either. Yeah, or like what people believe or propaganda. But anyway, I feel like if everybody,
it's good to hear an outsider perspective, because I feel like we are like a little bit high and mighty about like, we care about each other, and it's almost like everybody has an excuse for shitty behavior.
I don't think you care about each other at all here. I think New York's great because there's so many different ethnicities, so you automatically then can have empathy for because your friend is from a different religion. You don't. So Jehovah Witness, whatever I've been told, whatever stereotypes, I mean, that's completely dismissed then when I meet people who have either come out of the religion or still in it or have parents, or do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's not. Same with Irish people. People say, oh, they're all alcoholics and they beat their wives, and then people meet me and they're shocked that I don't drink that much. But you're breaking stereotypes by actually having a friend who's from Ireland. Right. Point being, that's good in New York City, but America, it could easily have a civil war, because Americans hate each other. You know, they're like, well, wait, but your parents aren't from here, so I'm against you, even though my grandparents are from here, but I'm the real patriot. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such, or like, yeah, I feel like people are really pitted against each other in the States, or like, my women shouldn't have an abortion but you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Yeah. No, you guys hate each other. What are you talking about? You don't have empathy for each other at all.
I'm out of here.
You have good healthcare. You overcharge for education, overcharge so much that the colleges are sitting on piles and piles of money while people can't afford to get a tooth operation. And then you complain about immigrants, but you don't have enough people doing PhD or masters because they can't afford it. So you actually have to import immigrants, and then you're upset. And then you're upset with the immigrants who come in and do the jobs that you don't want to do anyway, and and then they're stuck doing that because of racism or xenophobia. So it's like, no, the whole system here is wrong.
Katie Boyle for president 2024.
Yeah,
let's get her in.
I legally can't. I can't even vote. So also, if you get mad at me for this, I can't vote, so don't worry. I have no influence whatsoever.
This is your only platform.
Yeah.
Is podcasting. Well, hey, it has more reach than you think. Not this podcast, but other podcasts.
Yeah, not mine either. But
all right. Well, we painted a pretty positive picture of you and your outlook on the world. I think I would say you seem to be a pretty virtuous person who means to do well in the world. But it's time to get to the dark underbelly of who you really are. And we got a few more questions for Katie exclusively for our Patreon subscribers. So if you want to hear me do my damnedest to get Katie canceled, subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Jehovah Boy. And in the meantime, let's get your plugs in. Why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Also, I'm doing my own work to get me cancelled, by the way. At Katie Boyle Comic. That's everywhere. My special is on my YouTube, which is also at Katie Boyle Comic. But yeah, it's at Katie Boyle Comic everywhere. That's it. Okay,
great. And the pod is?
The Shift.
The Shift? Yeah. Okay, great. And I didn't know about I don't know how your special slipped past me. I try to watch everybody's special. That really is the truth. And I will definitely check yours out as well.
Oh, no, you don't
Katie's
have to.
Hilarious.
My voice is
check
very high-pitched.
What's that?
My voice was very high-pitched in it.
In the special?
I think I was just excited. And I'm like, oh my God, hi! I went over here! I'm like, oh. Yeah, I watched it so much that I was like, I think I hate my voice. But no, it's doing really well. So I'm very lucky. I couldn't have asked for it to gone better. So,
That's awesome.
For me, it feels like it was 14 months ago. So it feels like I'm a completely different comedian. You know what I mean? Every 2 months, you feel like you're a different comedian or... Yeah, so it's like, but yeah, it's good to have it out there and done, and yeah, I'm happy with the response. So,
awesome.
Yeah,
That's great.
I'm lucky.
Congrats.
Thanks.
All right, well, thanks so much for doing this, and great to see you. Appreciate
great to see you, yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next week. Appreciate the support. You can follow me on Instagram at WhoDougSmith. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe. Send in your emails, jehovahboypodcast@gmail.com. Like I said, patreon.com/jehovahboy for extended interviews, all kinds of bonus content. And youtube.com/@WhoDougSmith for full video of every episode and archived episodes every week. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next week. Goodbye.
This is Jehovah's name. His rule is here to stay. He's laid inside